Orange Season. We have to talk about Orange Season because I really wish I could have given this game a regular review, and I really wish this game didn't release in the state it's released in. And as you know, I usually try to give a bit of the benefit of the doubt to dev teams and, you know, especially with indie games, you know, usually I let you make your decision, but for this one, I'm really going to say don't spend your money on it. I'm going to explain why, because that's a really intense stance that I usually don't get that intense, but this one definitely has been very disappointing. But honestly, I'm not surprised because of what I know about this game's development, which is what I'm going to share with you in this video. So we'll go back, start with the backstory, and then move forward to the state of the game currently. So as far as I can tell, based on Steam reviews, this game has been in early access since 2017, and it just fully released, I believe October 23rd is the date that it released. And I was very shocked by this because of what I know about its development, because I have been following this game for a little bit. The reviews tell you a lot about what happened. So in 2017, a dev was working on this. As far as I can tell, it seems like possibly one dev, it could have been a more, but a very small team was working on this game. People were having a good time with it. It was doing well in early access. People were looking forward to the future and saying it had a lot of potential. And potential is a word I'm going to say a lot, and you're going to hear a lot in a lot of these reviews, that this game really has potential, but it just hasn't come to fruition. So it seems like at some point, and based on the reviews that I can find on Steam, or even just looking at the graph on Steam for the reviews and the ratings it got, something definitely changed around 2019. And based on the reviews, it seems like the initial dev or a dev team no longer worked on the game. They just stopped working on it altogether. The updates became longer and longer between updates. There became no activity on the Twitter. There became no information or updates about this game anymore. And it was actually just after this time, I would say probably about 6 months after this, when I came back to it, a lot more negative reviews had happened. So when I went to look at those reviews, it turns out a brand new dev team had taken over, and they seem to have taken some things out and kept some things within this game. I don't know how the game got transferred. I don't know if any of the original devs are working on it. I don't think so. It's very, very interesting, this story, which is why I wanted to share it with you. So now this new team's working on it, and they decide to overhaul it. We have proof that this game was severely overhauled, not only by the reviews and the negative feedback from what happened after they tried to overhaul the game and it being absolutely broken, essentially, but we can tell because there is a singular live stream left on the publisher's YouTube channel. I remembered that I had seen some live streams go up about this game and remember seeing the person playing it struggling. Now that live stream I saw is not there anymore. I don't know where it is. It looks like it's been deleted, because if we look at their channel in their live streams, 4 years ago is the only Orange Season game, which the person streaming refers to it as Fantasy Farming Orange Season. So it was like a completely different name as well. And in this live stream from 4 years ago, you can tell this happened before the big update. The game doesn't work very well. It's still in a very early state, but there's a lot that has obviously changed. For example, the map is completely different, because I mean, I don't know what the map is now, but we're going to get into that. I don't know what that change was, but the map was shown. The entire area is different. Like, what is the maps like? The layout is completely different. In my opinion, it made a little more sense, at least. It's not very cohesive, I think, now, even though it looks pretty, you know, we'll get into that though, but you know, things are definitely moved around. Buildings are a little bit different. Some are the same. A lot of the NPCs though look very much the same. They don't look very much changed. The main character is not changed very much from what I could see. Mostly things are similar in that way, but the art for sure got overhauled and a lot of areas got changed. The UI did not change that much. Also, the menus didn't change. It just seems like for some reason the map changed, which I think of all things was not the thing that needed to. So it seems like after this dev team decided to overhaul the game, it basically broke it. People were just very frustrated and upset that it was so broken. It's been left in a broken state. The devs are aware, but it seemed like every update didn't actually fix anything and possibly broke things more. Well, around 2023 is honestly where it ended up coming off my wish list, and then I thought of it later and thought, oh, I'll put it back on, you know, maybe it'll get better. Because again, I want to give chances to small indie devs, because it's hard. I know it can be hard. And not that I make games myself, but I've learned a lot about it, and I know it can be very difficult. And so that's why I like to give a lot of chances. And it was still in early access, so it could have always changed, is how I thought. So it went back on my wish list, but I never bought it, no matter how low the sale got, because I just wanted to see what would happen. They really updated the art because it looks gorgeous. The music is really great. But that seems like about it. Now we're gonna get into like the things I've experienced in my 2.5 to 3 hours of being able to play the game before my save was just deleted. Rest in peace to my saves. The first thing I noticed when the game opens up, when you go in to make your character, there are literally no customization options. Like, your animal gets more customization options than your person. You can choose between 2 body types. You can change your hair color and your skin color. You can even be blue if you want. But you can't change your clothes or your hairstyle or anything else at all. Like, that's it. You can name yourself. You can name your farm. Then you can name your dog or cat, and you can have multiple colors and stuff for the dog and cat. Like, I almost feel like, and they're different breeds of dog and cat too. Like, it's not just colors. Like, they went harder with the animals than they did with the you. And as far as I could tell from my mini time of being able to play the game, you do not change this. I don't know if you can at some point, but from what I could tell, and again, we're going to get into the map situation and the layout of this game because I truly couldn't. So this was surprising to me that there was no character customization at all. For a game that's like a life sim game where it's supposed to be you, that felt really weird to me. The next thing I noticed that was kind of strange is that skip cutscene was automatically on. Like, they're assuming everyone has already played this game, which I thought was kind of weird, but you know, it's just a little thing. So I just made sure that the cutscene played because it was my first time playing it. And I went into the game. And when I went into the game, it was a black screen and you could hear something, and then it just cuts to you being on the farm talking to the mayor and the mayor's brother. And at first I thought maybe it skipped the cutscene, but I think that is the cutscene. So I was like, okay, this must be the cutscene. We're gonna get some knowledge about ourselves and why we're here. You know, because that's usually how games work. That's not how this game works. This game said, you're here now because the mayor needs you here. I don't even think it was explained. I don't even remember if it was explained why the mayor needs you here, but the mayor needs you here, and people here don't like farmers too much, but you're here now on the farm. And then the brother kind of takes you quickly over, like, that's where you plant crops. This is where you have a chicken. And then starts to walk away, and then dramatically turns around and is like, I never asked, why did you want to be here? And you answer something along the lines of like, I needed a new life, or I needed to finally live. And that's it. That's the story. That is the story of the game. Like, as far as it gives you in the beginning, I mean, that's like it. That's like the backstory. Like, that's our exposition. So I was like, okay, I guess we're just here on the farm. That's okay. Games don't have to have a backstory. So I was like, let's see, you know, let's start playing it. You know, it immediately somehow just skips the next day. Like, you don't even get to play day 1. You start on day 2. So we went to day 2. I was like, cool. I saved the game, and then I walked out, planted my stuff, because you have to plant your turnips to prove you're good at farming, even though that's why you were hired. So that was interesting. And then I decided to, okay, you know, what do I like to do? Walk the map, right? We like to walk around, see all the NPCs. You were given a quest to like meet everybody. And there's a ton of NPCs in this game, and I only know that because of the little NPC chart that's in the menus. So I was like, okay, I got a lot of people to meet. Let's walk around and start finding people. And as I started to walk around, y'all, like, this is just, for me, I'm about to just personally get so upset. The layout of this town is, I don't want to be mean, but it's terrible. Like, you literally can't find anything. Like, I would try to find NPCs, and every door is locked. Like, every single door is locked, and that's if you get a like, little, like, text box that you can interact with it. Half the time when you go to interact with something, nothing happens. Like, you know how sometimes you can just interact with like little objects? Like, I noticed there's a lot of little signs on things like light posts and you know, little areas, and there's a lot of little things out everywhere, right? Because the art's cute and it's cluttered like how normal living humans are. Like, we have stuff everywhere sometimes. When you walk up to that stuff, you don't interact with it at all. Like, it's just like, I don't know, man. It was super weird, because usually in games like this, you can interact with things that are put out. They're put out for a reason. It's not just random stuff, but you couldn't interact with any signs that were up, except for one, which was in the main town area, which was also confusing because all the buildings are turned different ways. Like, it was very strange. I've never seen a game like this have buildings turned all different ways, where it's kind of hard to see them because your camera doesn't turn, right? So, but that was the only sign I could read, was the one in town, in the main town area. And that one was just like showing what festivals were coming up. Like, as I'm walking around, I'm realizing I'm not seeing NPCs, and I walked everywhere. Like, the more I walked, the more confused I got about where things were. So then I was like, how do I open the map? And this is the moment, y'all, when I opened the map is a bunch of circles. That's it. Like, you can't see where buildings are, or like, and there's a lot of buildings crammed into one area. Like, each area is honestly quite big, and then it shows you like in just this long thing at the bottom, like all these pictures of what NPCs are there, but it doesn't say where they are. It just says they're there, and then it'll show like a little house icon if they're in something, like inside a building. But what building? Who knows? Who knows what building it is? They're just in a building somewhere in this entire area, which is shown as a circle for you to find. So finding NPCs, y'all, I couldn't even complete the first quest because there were so many NPCs. I think I was still missing like 6 or 7 people, and I just couldn't find them. I was walking the map for days and days and days. Sometimes the day would just end. I would go to the mines and be mining, and the day would just end, and I don't know why. Like, there was no warning of me being tired. There was no warning of, you know, you needed to sleep. I just straight up, the day just started over. And it was like, now it's the 3rd or now it's the 5th. I was so confused. That happened quite a few times, like honestly, so confusing, because I had a controller plugged into my computer when I was playing it, because I just like to play Lifesyn type games on a controller. I've said this before on my streams. And so I had it plugged in, and as soon, it tried to vibrate when I broke a rock, and then it was delayed. And I thought, oh, like, I guess it's supposed to vibrate, the controller. And then when I went to hit the next rock, when it finally broke, the controller vibrated, and as soon as the vibration was triggered, the game just was like, next day, like as if you slept. It was so strange. I've never had that happen before. And y'all, I'm not even done, okay? I'm not even done. That wasn't even all the bugs. That, like, there was no balancing in the game. For some reason, as soon as the game starts, your backpack is completely, like, you have all 3, which we know from the live stream that I mentioned before wasn't possible, because the person that was streaming kept running into the issue of having a full backpack, and they didn't have the 1, 2, 3. They only had 1. And we, for some reason, at the start of the game in the full release, have every single slot. Like, you can just carry whatever you want. And if you walk around to the beach, okay, if you go down to the beach and you collect coconuts off of trees or the ground, you know how rich you can get. Those, I think they were like $35 or something, or I don't know, they were worth like a good amount of money. And if you go to the beach and collect everything and walk off the beach, like you walk to the next place and you walk back onto the beach, everything respawns every single time, all day. So you can be rich so fast because there's no balancing. You can just be rich, and it never, like, it literally never stops you from doing this. Also, you can just gift like NPCs a maximum amount of things. Like, there's no limit to how many gifts you can gift them. I literally gifted 15 juice boxes to someone in like 10 seconds, and my hearts went up with them, and that was it. Like, there's no balancing in the game either, or like parameters. So there's like, basically there's no achievement in the game. There's no working towards anything, because everything is basically done. Like, all your end game stuff you can get within the first week of the game, really. I didn't even get to the first week of the game, but you really could, because if you just hard grind collecting these coconuts for like 2-3 in-game days, like, you're gonna be rich really quick. You're gonna be able to just buy everything so fast. Like, it's actually wild how it worked that way. I don't know why it was released that way. Like, it's so interesting. Yeah, there's so many more issues I have, but this video is gonna get way too long, and I'm not trying to just sit here and complain, but it's just, I can't believe it's this bad, especially because that dev team, I mean, I know they've only technically had it for a few years, right? This new dev team, but it just feels so strange that it's in this state. I personally, based on everything we've talked about, think because this has been put through the ringer, like, this game has absolutely been just pushed by different dev teams and all this stuff has been going on. I feel like, honestly, it could be whoever is a higher up in this whole group of people working on this game or working for this game. I really think they were just going to cut their losses and release it. I think it's released because otherwise it was never going to get released out of early access. I think everyone wanted to wipe their hands with it, be done with it, and move on to something else. It's not that I think the dev team working on it couldn't work on a better project, but I think it's just whatever happened with this one, right? We don't know all the ins and outs. Whatever happened was messed up, and it just messed up this game. And I don't know what is going on. I don't know what, some of the decisions are sus, like with the map and like just very interesting decisions or lack of decisions. Maybe they ran out of time. Maybe there was a deadline that Orange Season had to be released by a certain date. But it is sad, the state of this game. It's truly like, I feel like I genuinely burned $23 buying this game because it's so unplayable. Like I can't, it's, and it deleted itself. Like at the end of the day, I was gonna play this game for 10 to 15 hours. I was really gonna try and force myself. I was not having any fun because I couldn't find any NPCs running around. I was getting frustrated because every single quest is locked behind finding every single NPC. Like you would talk to an NPC and they'd be like, yeah, come back once you've meet everyone. So I literally couldn't progress in the game because I had to meet everyone, and I kept running around trying to find everyone, and I couldn't find them because I can't see them on the map. I don't know where I've already been because the map is a bunch of circles. So you know what? It's your choice, but I'm going to strongly advise, like, don't get this one probably, save. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, like Luma Island next month. Like, there's other life sim vibes with some farming that are coming out that I think might be more worth the change. But you know what? It's truly your choice. I just really feel like I had to advise against it this time because this one is like, I don't know. I feel bad. It's definitely, its reviews are getting worse and worse on Steam as we speak. I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible, so I probably rambled too much. I apologize. So yeah, definitely a rough one. I don't usually make content like this, like I mentioned. I usually make review videos. So if you like review videos for all kinds of different games, definitely stick to the channel. Stay tuned. I do live streams playing different games, so you get to see in real time how the game is and my reactions to it. We usually have a great time on both sides, both the review side and the live stream side, so feel free to stick around if you are interested. But yeah, this one's a rough one, y'all. Let me know what you think down below. Was I too harsh? I really didn't want to be, but I don't know, man. This one really let me down, to be honest. It's probably the first time I'm ever, other than the Dreamlight Valley, like something let me down to this degree. Yeah, it's just sad, I think, all around. But thank you so much for watching and sticking around and being here. Remember to stay safe, hug your loved ones, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.